There's a lot of attention right now around the pitching situation for the New York Yankees, especially with the regular season getting closer and closer. With opening day approaching fast, every bullpen session and every spring outing starts to carry a little more weight. And one name that has been drawing a lot of discussion is Luis Gil. Recently, the right-hander showed some very encouraging signs on the mound, particularly when it comes to his velocity. During one of his latest appearances, Gil was firing fastballs that reached 97 miles per hour, while consistently sitting in the mid-90s. For a pitcher who relies heavily on power and movement, seeing that kind of velocity at this stage of preparation is definitely something that catches attention. The Yankees know that if Luis Gil is healthy and throwing like that, he can become a huge piece of the rotation moving forward. The reason this moment feels so important for him is because the previous season was far from ideal. Injuries limited his time on the mound and prevented him from building the rhythm that starting pitchers desperately need across a full campaign. He only managed to appear in 11 games, and although his earned run average ended up being respectable, the overall numbers revealed some struggles. Over 57 innings pitched, Gil recorded 41 strikeouts, which is far from the swing-and-miss dominance fans saw earlier in his career. On top of that, control became an issue. He issued 33 walks during those same 57 innings, and that lack of command pushed his whip well above what the team expects from someone with his talent. When a pitcher with that kind of stuff begins putting extra runners on base, it creates pressure every single inning. That is why so many Yankees supporters keep bringing up the version of Luis Gil that exploded onto the scene during his rookie campaign. That season showed exactly what he is capable of when everything clicks together. Gil took the ball 29 times as a starter and handled a workload of more than 150 innings, proving he could stay in the rotation and compete consistently. His strikeout total reached 171, which immediately placed him among the most dangerous young arms in the league when it came to missing bats. Hitters had trouble catching up to his fastball, and his secondary pitches played off that velocity perfectly. Even though the walk total was still relatively high, the overall effectiveness remained strong because opposing lineups simply struggled to square him up. When you look back at that season, it becomes clear why expectations remain high around him. The ability is there. The raw arsenal is there. The fastball has life. The slider can be devastating. And when his mechanics stay under control, he becomes extremely difficult to face. His whip during that rookie campaign stayed close to the 1.1 range, which is impressive considering the number of free passes he allowed. That statistic alone suggests that when Gil is locating well enough to avoid constant trouble, hitters have a very hard time generating consistent offense against him. It is exactly the type of profile the Yankees need in their rotation, especially during stretches where the schedule becomes demanding. Health, of course, remains the biggest factor. When a pitcher deals with injuries, it often interrupts both physical rhythm and mental confidence. Returning from that kind of setback requires time, patience, and a gradual buildup of intensity. That is why the early signs this spring have been so encouraging. Seeing him throw hard again, seeing that velocity climb back into the upper 90s, tells the coaching staff that his arm strength is returning. And when his fastball is alive, everything else in his repertoire tends to fall into place. The difference between a 94-mile-per-hour fastball and one approaching 97 can be enormous at the major league level. Another reason this season could become a turning point for Luis Gil is the situation surrounding the Yankees' starting rotation at the beginning of the year. Injuries and recovery timelines are forcing the team to adjust its plans. Two major arms expected to anchor the staff will likely miss the opening stretch of the season. That means opportunities will appear for younger pitchers who are ready to step forward. For Gil, that opportunity is enormous. A strong start to the season could allow him to establish himself firmly within the rotation before the full group returns. A few dominant outings in April can completely change how the coaching staff views his long-term role. Competition will definitely exist, though. Several other pitchers within the organization are also fighting for those same innings. Young arms are eager to prove they belong, and the Yankees system has quietly developed impressive depth when it comes to pitching talent. That internal competition creates an environment where performance truly matters every time someone steps on a mound. If a pitcher delivers strong outings and shows consistency, the team will find a way to keep him involved. But if struggles appear early, the front office will not hesitate to explore other options. That is why these early performances from Luis Gil carry so much significance. The Yankees are not simply evaluating whether he can throw hard again. They're watching to see how he handles pressure, how he sequences his pitches, and how effectively he limits walks. If he manages to combine his natural velocity with improved command, the results could be extremely impressive. A pitcher with upper 90s heat and the ability to generate swings and misses becomes incredibly valuable over the course of a long season. For now, the early signs suggest that Gil is trending in the right direction. His arm looks lively, the fastball is jumping again, and the overall energy on the mound resembles the pitcher who once took the league by surprise. The Yankees know that if this version of Luis Gil continues to develop and stays healthy, the team might suddenly find itself with another powerful weapon in the rotation just when it needs one the most. And with the season about to begin, every inning he throws will continue shaping how big that role might become moving forward. Another factor that makes this moment so important for Luis Gil is the structure of the Yankees' rotation heading into the beginning of the season. With key starters expected to miss time early in the year, the team will rely heavily on the arms that are available right now. That opens the door for pitchers who are ready to prove themselves, and Gil is right in the middle of that conversation. The projected rotation to start the year could look very different from what fans expected a few months ago. Instead of the usual hierarchy led by the established veterans, the Yankees may begin the season leaning on a mix of experienced arms and younger pitchers who are still trying to cement their place in the major leagues. In that environment, every outing becomes a chance to either secure a role or risk losing it. Max Fried is widely expected to take the ball on opening day, and that decision makes a lot of sense considering the way he performed last season. He delivered consistency across the entire year, taking the mound more than 30 times and logging nearly 200 innings. His earned run average stayed comfortably below 3, and his ability to limit base runners kept the Yankees in position to win games almost every time he pitched. Fried also demonstrated the kind of composure that teams look for in an ace, stepping up when the rotation needed stability. With the early season absences of other frontline starters, handing him the responsibility of opening the year on the mound feels like the natural choice. Behind him, though, the picture becomes far more competitive. Several pitchers are battling to lock down spots in the middle and back end of the rotation, and that competition could shape the Yankees' season in a major way. Cam Schlittler has generated excitement within the organization after showing flashes of strong potential last year, especially in games that carried real pressure. His ability to stay calm on the mound and attack hitters aggressively has impressed the coaching staff. Meanwhile, Will Warren is another pitcher the Yankees believe can take a significant step forward. His development over the past seasons has placed him firmly in the conversation for a larger role, and the team will be watching closely to see how he handles the opportunity. Then there is Ryan Weathers, a pitcher whose raw talent continues to intrigue people throughout the organization. Few doubt the quality of his stuff. His fastball comes out with serious velocity, and his arsenal has the kind of movement that can make hitters uncomfortable throughout an entire game. The challenge for Weathers has always been command and consistency. When those elements are missing, his outings can unravel quickly. But when he finds the strike zone and keeps his mechanics under control, the potential becomes obvious. If he manages to put everything together this season, the Yankees could suddenly discover that they possess another powerful starter capable of impacting the rotation in a big way. All of this creates a very interesting situation for Luis Gil. The opportunity is enormous, but so is the pressure. The Yankees will not simply hand out rotation spots based on past potential. Performance in the early weeks of the season will matter a great deal. If Gil comes out throwing with the same energy and velocity that he has shown recently, and if he manages to reduce the number of walks that hurt him in previous stretches, he could quickly establish himself as a reliable starter. However, If his command slips again and he struggles to find rhythm, the organization may start exploring other possibilities. One of the debates surrounding Gill involves the question of whether he could ever transition into a bullpen role. Some people have suggested that his powerful fastball might play well in shorter appearances, where he could simply focus on throwing as hard as possible for an inning or two. But others strongly disagree with that idea. Gill's biggest challenge has been control, and placing a pitcher with command issues into high-pressure relief situations can sometimes create even more problems. When a reliever enters the game with runners already on base, every pitch becomes critical. That type of environment requires a pitcher who can immediately locate the strike zone, something Gill has not always done consistently. Because of that, many believe his best path forward remains in the starting rotation, where he has time to settle into a game and find his rhythm across multiple innings. When he is locked in, his ability to overpower hitters becomes extremely effective. The key will be learning how to navigate the moments when his command begins to drift. Experienced starters develop ways to manage those situations, sometimes by relying more on off-speed pitches or by adjusting their approach to induce weaker contact. If Gill continues maturing in those areas, he could become the kind of pitcher who keeps opponents guessing throughout an entire outing. Beyond the rotation itself, the Yankees also know that a successful season will depend on more than just pitching. Offensively, the lineup must deliver when it matters most. Last season demonstrated how dangerous the team can be when its key hitters are producing consistently, but it also revealed how quickly momentum can disappear if the bats fall silent during critical moments. The postseason showed exactly how thin the margin for error becomes. Even strong pitching performances can go to waste if the offense fails to capitalize on scoring opportunities. That is why the Yankees enter this season with a strong sense of urgency. The roster contains talent in multiple areas, and the organization believes it has the depth necessary to compete deep into the year. However, turning potential into results requires everything to come together at the right time. The rotation must remain healthy, the bullpen must protect leads, and the offense must generate pressure on opposing pitchers throughout the lineup. When those elements align, the Yankees become a team capable of challenging anyone in the league. For Luis Gil, this season could ultimately determine how he fits into that larger picture. A strong run through the early months would solidify his place in the rotation and prove that the promise he showed earlier in his career is still very real. It would also give the Yankees another powerful arm to rely on as the schedule grows tougher. But the journey to that point begins with the next few outings, where every inning he throws will continue shaping the story of his season and the role he may ultimately play within this evolving Yankees pitching staff. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. A ripple of controversy is moving through the corridors of the Bronx after a blunt comment from Aaron Judge about Brazilian prospect Joseph Contreras sparked debate around the New York Yankees clubhouse. During a routine media scrum, Judge was asked about the rapid rise of Contreras, the young Brazilian pitcher whose recent performances have drawn attention from scouts and fans alike. Known for his measured tone with reporters, Judge surprised many by responding with unusual frankness. According to reporters present, the Yankees captain suggested that hype surrounding Contreras may be moving faster than the results, adding that in New York, talent alone doesn't guarantee anything. The remark immediately ignited speculation. Some observers interpreted Judge's words as a challenge directed at the Brazilian rookie, while others believe the comment reflects growing tension inside the organization as expectations continue to mount. Contreras, one of the few high-profile Brazilian players to emerge in recent years, has been treated by some analysts as a potential breakout story. His aggressive style on the mound and confident demeanor have already made him a talking point among fans eager to see fresh energy in the Yankees rotation. But Judge's comments appear to pour cold water on the narrative, at least publicly. Inside baseball circles, reactions have been mixed. A few former players defended Judge, arguing that clubhouse leaders often test young talent to see how they respond under pressure. Others suggest that singling out a teammate in such direct terms, even indirectly, risks creating unnecessary friction. The Yankees organization has not issued any official response, and Contreras himself has remained silent when approached by reporters after the remark circulated. That silence has only fueled further rumor. Is this simply veteran honesty, or the first sign of an internal rivalry forming in the Bronx? For now, the situation remains unresolved, but one thing is clear: Judge's candid words have ensured that every move Joseph Contreras makes will be watched more closely than ever. In New York, where expectations are relentless and narratives change quickly, a single comment can echo far beyond the clubhouse walls. And this one already has. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.